Hidden away amid the misty mountains with gruesome tales of medieval witches are the forgotten Italian villages of Liguria. Liguria is one of the smallest of the 20 regions that make up Italy. The area is most famous for the Cinque Terre, Genova, and the celebrity favourite of Portofino. However, in the shadow of these popular tourist destinations, there are a wealth of forgotten villages that draw people here every year. Since the nearby motorway was only built in the 60s, the villages are almost untouched by modern civilization. Of course, that does mean that the ways of travelling to these remote destinations are somewhat restricted. While car will be the preferred mode of transport for some, for me, it was to be by bus. In the hills of the Ligurian hinterland lays Apricale, a small commune with ancient towers and narrow lanes enclosed between medieval walls. Known for its beauty, restaurants, lively atmosphere and sunny piazza, it's the first village in Liguria to be given the most beautiful village in history title. However, due to its distance from Genova, we did not get there until late, so its picturesque landscape would have to wait. Hungry from our long journey, our first port of call was a local restaurant, which served cuisine made from produce indigenous to the area. Wine and olive oil seemed to be the main commodities here, and though my appetite had grown over the course of our long drive, there was no doubt that the food definitely beat anything I'd usually consume back at home. It was definitely worth the wait. After a filling meal, it was time to retire for the night. There are rooms to rent scattered across the village. Each has separate bedrooms and bathrooms and a shared kitchen and dining room. Though they are built into the hillside above ground, they have a subterranean feel, which accentuates the general warmth of the ambience. Come morning, the light allowed the true beauty of Apricale to be revealed. Sitting at the top of the hill, overlooking the village in all its splendour, is the Castello della Lusitola. Almost completely destroyed in the 1500s, save for some underground rooms and dungeons, it was reconstructed and transformed over the ages and is now host to exhibitions, cultural conventions and a small roof garden. Despite its secluded nature, Apricale still provides all the essentials in the form of markets, shops and restaurants. Apricale also makes a good place of departure for excursions to explore the wider area. Unfortunately, we had no time for any detours as we set off for the second of the lost villages. Dolce Acqua, meaning sweet water, is a name of possible Celtic origin. It has been proven that man was already here in prehistoric times. Despite this, a lot of the architecture, especially around the characteristic alleyways, is medieval. There is a number of historical and cultural features around the village, giving reference to various periods in history, both Italian and further afield. And the settlement itself is a testament of an ancient conflict between rival houses that has gone on for centuries. Dolce Acqua's destiny has long been tied to these noble families, and the evidence of their struggles is easy to see as you explore the winding streets. Its history is hard to ignore, and its story is one of intrigue. Back on the road, the weather started to take a turn for the worse. As we ascended the winding mountain road, fog began to collect on the horizon, giving the most foreboding atmosphere. Very apt, considering the next destination was Triora, also known as Village of the Witches, the site of some of the most gruesome witch killings in Italy.
After a couple of years of problems due to the sickness, the people believed that was God at which to give this signal, because there were some witches in Triora. So they asked to the church to have an inquiry about this witch. If a woman was well known as a witch on the fire. This all around Europe.
The Museum of Ethnology and Witchcraft descends into vaults which were once ancient dungeons and pays homage to the witch trials of 1588. Documents are contained here about the Inquisition and tell of the torture and trials of the alleged witches.
At the moment we have a witch in Molini, so they don't stop.
Away from its dark past, the village also promotes itself for its art, faith, literature and cookery. One food that is particularly special in Triora is their bread, Panin di Triora, part of the Associazione Città del Pane effort, which aims to preserve the most famous types of Italian bread. Freshness is guaranteed, as a lot of the ingredients are locally sourced, including fruits, nuts and mushrooms from the surrounding woodlands. The vast forested mountains also offer plenty of trails for hiking and cycling, as well as some streams for fishing and canyoning. 3 destinations in one day is not bad going, and now it was time to head back for the night. There are plenty of secluded locations to escape to. However, it's not all just quaint villages in the mountains. If you find yourself starting to miss civilization, the city of Genova has plenty of shops, restaurants, clubs, hotels and other amenities, as well as a variety of sites of historical and cultural interest. And, like the rest of the region, some great views. There was not much time for partying, however, as I had an early start in the morning and the promise of 2 more treasures to discover. On the road again, we were off to Lost Village number 4. Brugnato is a colourful and picturesque commune that rises around the nucleus of the ancient abbey of St Columbanus, and a recent series of archaeological excavations have brought to light more remains of the abbey as well as a medieval well. The focal point is the cathedral and the bishop's building located at the heart of the town.
Allora, il restauro hanno avuto...
The works of the restoration were started in 1995 with the restoration of the cathedral, so the transformation from the Baroque decorations to Romanesque decorations. Then they proceeded to the restoration of the bishop building, and with the income of the Jubilee of the 2000, they could restore the bishop building, and also in the village, or they could dig the floor and to found the walls underneath, the ancient walls that were surrounding the old village.
The cathedral dates back to the 12th century, and inside is typical to what you'd expect from any medieval style church, dark with a looming sombre air. In direct contrast to the cathedral, the bishop's quarters are bright and grand, holding some great works of art of historical interest along with other exhibits in the museum. Considering the size of the place, there's a lot going on.
Noi qui a Brugnato.
Here in Brugnato there are many bed and breakfast houses for holidays, coffee bars and cakes shops.
And in addition to the typical outdoor activities, trekking, cycling, horse riding etc., the Vara River offers numerous water sports. There are also some lively fairs, festivals and events that take place throughout the year. On the road for the final time, we were heading for Varese Liguria. Alberto Fieschi founded the commune in 1161 and wanted space in the middle for a market and for the outline architecture to be round to protect it. As the community has grown, the middle has been populated by houses where the market once stood. As with the rest of the villages, Varese Liguria has a good range of facilities and makes a useful base camp for the nature and historical excursions available in the area. However, the 2 main notable features are the 17th century church and the castle that rises above the rooftops. Behold signs of the past lives of prisoners that are kept within its walls, and get a great view of the whole town and surrounding countryside from its summit. It's definitely worth the climb. There was a huge amount to see and take in over the 2 days, and it was great to get away from the hustle and bustle of urban life, or indeed the usual tourist haunts. Going to any of these villages was like taking a step back in time, each rich with history, culture, great landscapes and delicious food. And despite sharing these characteristics, each was special in its own unique way. I wish I had more of an opportunity to explore some of the surrounding area. There were a large range of outdoor activities to undertake in the Liguria wilderness, and even more awe-inspiring views and sights to discover, but I guess I'll have to leave those for you.